This session coming up, it focuses on really the life after death. What is the journey of the soul and the spirit after death to rebirth again? Now, all of us are going to die, and I'm especially speaking to older people because certainly around 70, your body starts telling you it's going to stop eventually. It's breaking down. Yeah, you might do many things to be healthy, but you're going to die, and we all are going to die. So you can have three basic views about that. Atheistic, that there's nothing, and that's fine. You didn't exist before you were born, you won't exist afterwards. So it doesn't even matter what happened in between because you're not going to exist anymore. Or you're in some religious persuasion, you follow some religion, and they have various pictures really from antiquity, from tradition, on how you need to prepare for death, what happens to you after death. Or you can turn to anthroposophy. I know in Buddhism, in Hinduism, even in certain Chinese religions, they talk about the soul after death, the spirit after death. It came from another kind of consciousness. Whereas Rudolf Steiner gave many, many lectures and wrote books about his research on what the soul and the spirit experience after death. And he said it's very important today that people think these thoughts. They don't have to believe them, but they think, they consider what he says. Because he says after death, that's very important that you have thought those thoughts. Because you won't have a body, a physical body anymore, which means you won't have any senses, which means if everything stops with your brain, okay, but if you now have a higher consciousness, which many near-death experience people explain, that your consciousness expands, you're more conscious because the brain and the body are actually kind of filters that dumb you down so that time takes place in the speed that it does. But when you, after death, you experience everything at once. So the problem is not that you can't see anything, you see everything at once. And these thoughts that you've been able to think and consider before you die, they help you orient yourself after death, and they help you actually go on that journey much more consciously. And therefore, they help you prepare for your next life much more consciously. And then in your next life, you can be much more effective. So this course is really about that journey and how to think the thoughts of what will happen to you between death and your next rebirth.